I think there should be a question of choice. And this has to come in. Whereas, I suppose this is one of the things that is absolutely lacking in Malaysia.
In Malaysia, when we talk about multiracial, it's as if there's only Malays, Chinese and Indians. We need to break away from that and recognize that there's so many other ethnic groups and diversity that we can celebrate and appreciate. We really need to move away from that kind of thinking.
The definition of mixed race is really quite wide and open to interpretation. So a lot of people think when they hear mixed, they think of different things.
And so therefore in Malaysia there isn't a way of accommodating people who are of mixed race. There is this sort of monolithic thinking that you belong to one or another ethnic or racial group.
There's a need to relook sort of in Malaysia the obsession about the whole racial concept.
I don't see myself identifying particularly with Indian or Chinese, other than my name, and liking Indian food. That's it. It stops there. My father never drilled it into us. We never went for like those whatever singing classes or traditional arts classes. Never did. So there wasn't a so-called traditional upbringing of trying to drum a sense of this racial identity in us, lah.
My younger days, I never thought that I had a face that is different from anybody else. I've never thought that I looked like a certain race, whether I was Chinese or Indian or anything. Until I came to Peninsula about 10 years ago, where things are slightly different. Where racial identity is more pronounced.
When we went out, more often than not, we were mistaken for being Malay. In fact, there was one occasion where my sisters, they were having a lunch during Puasa month and they were actually harassed by these religious enforcement officers they thought they were Malay, and then and you should be fasting, so they thought they were violating the rules.
Chinese New Year is around the corner, okay? So I put in my annual leave. And I'm at the bottom of the wait list. Alright, I'm at the bottom of the wait list because my name is Sharon Das, you see. And the Chinese will be given priority. So, where do I stand from that? I mean, this is stereotyping. And I have not done anything wrong.
This is a picture of my son, and as you can see, he doesn't look very Indian nor Chinese. What I would say, he's a Malaysian. But I guess for multiracial parents, the concern is even greater. They need a place to belong. And where they belong, is it determined by how they look on the outside or what they believe on the inside?
When I was doing my research, I realized that speaking about like mixed, even if we don't talk about race or biological things, if we talk about culture, it's quite it's really quite problematic. By labeling ourselves Malay, Chinese and Indians, we regularly make invisible.
Everybody is actually mixed race. And recent scientific evidence seems to suggest that many groups of people, I think throughout Europe, or have basically Neanderthal genes in them also. You have to imagine that there is an ideal pure race somewhere in the background which then comes together. But these ideal pure races actually don't exist. They're sort of fantasies in our mind.
I think it would be good for governments to be able to recognize their citizens who are of mixed race or mixed ancestry. We have to be able to admit the diversity of our citizens. We have to evolve as a society.
And this is my only wish, that I be recognized as a Malaysian, that's all. Not as a Chinese or Indian or Kadazan or anything else, or a Bumi,
And I would very much like to see also a Malaysia that recognizes the freedom of choice of the individual, and a Malaysia that recognizes a true Malaysian identity. and allows people to choose that as an identity for themselves.